Halfmilesniper here. Wasn't able to do a shooting video this week because, well, there was an accident on the range that kept me from getting out there. Somebody made a mistake. Things happen. So, this week I am going to, I think I'm going to brew up a batch of beer. So, grab a chair, sit down, enjoy the ride. And just to let y'all know, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning right now, and it's already over 100 degrees outside. It is going to be smoking hot this weekend. Going to need plenty of cold beer to get through it. Let's see y'all in a... Okay, so here we go. We got our brew pot set up on our turkey fryer. And we're going to start off getting some water in here. And I am using some bottled water because our water here in town is very hard. And about a half a gallon more just to get us some water to start steeping our grain. Why are we not? Why are we not done? Well, let me look into this. Okay, got it figured out. The thermal coupler just had some carbon caked up on it. I just had to wipe the thermal coupler off. So now we're just going to run our water up to about 150, 160 degrees, and then we will put in a bag of grains. I'm working with an extract kit, so it has a partial grain and then the malt extract, all the sugars, so I don't have to cook the sugars out. So we'll come back when we get up to temperature. Well, literally, it has been no more than 10 minutes, and we're already up to like 115 degrees on the water. I'm sure the 100-degree temperatures outside are going to help a little bit, so it'll be pretty quick for us to get up to 150, I think. We'll be back in a few while I'm getting other things ready. So it just dawned on me, I did not give y'all any time reference, simply saying that, hey, it's going to be pretty quick that this happens. I got the fire started at 10:30. It's now 10:41 and we're already at 135 degrees, so we will be at our 150, 155 degree temperature for steeping our grains pretty soon. So I'm going to go get those grains bagged up and ready to go in the water. Oh, we are now 10:47 and our temperature is 155 degrees on the water, so we can set our grains in and cut the fire off. And now we're just going to let these sit for about 20 minutes and let all the flavors and sugars and whatnot in the grains come out into the water. Then we will bring it back up to a boil. Okay, well, it's been 20 minutes. We have dropped just under 10 degrees, so we're down to 145 degrees. Our grains have been steeping for 20 minutes. And now we just got to let all the sugars and juices drain out of the grains here back into the pot. We don't want to squeeze the bag. We're going to let them drain naturally. Then we'll add in a half a gallon of water to replace what's been soaked up by the grains. Turn the fire on and bring this mess up to a boil before we add our malt extracts. I do believe the fact that it's 100 degrees outside right now at 11:07 in the morning is helping us to maintain our temperature here on the what is now wort. Okay. So I got rid of my grain bag and replacing the water that the grains soaked up. And we'll get the fire going again here in a minute. I didn't tell y'all what we were brewing, other than saying, no, we're going to brew beer. I'm actually going for a Newcastle style ale on this run. So let's get that fire going again. Much better. Definitely helps when you have a clean thermocouple. Okay, well, temperature after adding that water dropped to 140 degrees. We need to come back up to 212 before we can add in our extracts. I'll bring y'all back when temperature gets a little closer. So, we've been back on the fire for, let me look at my watch, exactly 20 minutes. We started out at 145 degrees. We're now 195 and climbing. So we will be at our boiling point here soon. And then we will add in the extracts and bring it back to a boil. We'll shut the fire off when we pour the malt extract in so it doesn't burn to the bottom of the pot. Bring it back to a boil and add the first dose of hops in. So again, as you can see here, if I can get there we go. And just in the minute I've been talking, temperature's been creeping up. So we'll be at boiling point here pretty quick. Okay, we have just hit boiling. It's now 11:36, 11:37. So 30 minutes from putting it back on the fire, we are at boiling. I'm going to turn the fire off, stir in the malt extracts, put the fire back on. The reason we're turning the fire off again is because we don't want the sugars to burn at the bottom of the brew pot here. So, fire off. Get that mixed in nice and complete, and we'll put in another 3-pound can of extract, and it's a amber malt extract. This stuff is super thick, so you have to preheat it to make it liquid, so it'll pour and mix. Scoop as much out as we can, because remember, the sugar is what makes our alcohol. And if everything goes right, the finished product should produce, on this particular recipe, about a 5.5% beer. Okay, let's turn that fire back on and bring this mess up to a boil. Okay, so our temperature dropped back down to 195 degrees, adding in the extracts and having the fire off. So now I've got to bring it back up to a boil. Once we come to a boil, I will add the hops in, the first batch of hops, which are the flavoring hops, and then start the 60-minute boil. Okay, so we have returned to boil, and now it's time to put the first batch of hops in. I do something a little different. I put my hops in a tea ball. That way there I'm not dealing with hops all through my beer, unless I have to try to strain out. What we want to be careful of is once we put these hops in, we might end up with a boil over. So we just got to kind of keep on top of things here until we reach that peak point where it wants to boil over. And get it settled down into a nice, gentle, rolling boil. I actually need to start my timer. And I need 30 minutes. Timer's running. We've got 30 minutes on the clock. In 30 minutes we will add the second batch of hops. And those will cook for 30 minutes as well. And we will set it timer then for 15 minutes, because in the last 15 minutes of the boil we will be adding in the wort chiller so it has a chance to sterilize. So we'll be back in a few. Okay, well, we are about a minute and a half from putting in our second dose of hops. A lot of people probably don't know this, but the hops are in the cannabis family. And the first time I brewed beer at home, it was like, why do I smell green marijuana? The hops really do smell like marijuana. The first batch I put in had just a straight hoppy, cannabis-y kind of aroma to them. Second batch here have a almost kind of a spice aroma. You can smell the cannabis odor, and then like a spice, almost a spiced rum kind of aroma. Interesting how different strains of hops have different smell. Also watching this this wort boil, this Newcastle Nut Brown Ale. It looks like it's going to be a nice dark brown ale. Should be a good drinking brew. And oh joy, we're up to 109 degrees outside right now. So the loud noise you hear in the background is actually my air conditioner running. And second batch of hops go in. Let's reset this timer for 15 minutes. And at the 15-minute mark, we will add our wort chiller into the wort and let it boil for the last 15 minutes to sanitize it. We're thinking, damn, what does Halfmilesniper have in that white bucket behind the pot of brew he's working on? Well, that is my wort chiller that I made. I got a, I think it was about a 25-foot, I take it back, it wasn't 25 foot, because they didn't have a 25-foot roll, they had two 10-foot rolls. I took two 10-foot rolls of 3/8 copper tubing, spliced them together, right there, soldered on a couple of fittings, and then I got some clear tubing. Don't remember the dimension on it. I think it's 3/8 ID, which I then connect it to a fountain pump sitting down here in the bottom of my Yeti cooler, which is now filled with 20 pounds of ice and water and is probably about 33 degrees. That wort chiller, circulating that ice water through my wort, when we get done boiling it, will drop the temperature from boiling 212 degrees to 70 degrees in about 12 minutes. The cycling the ice water through the cooler, it works like a radiator, and it will draw the heat right out of my wort and put it back in the cooler here with the ice water. So we'll try to get that on film, not all 12 minutes of it, but start and finish. Okay, we're about 30 seconds away from putting our wort chiller in to let it sanitize. Okay, we're going to let that come back up. It's got about 15 more minutes to boil. The wort chiller will sanitize in the hot wort. And once we turn the fire off, this wort chiller should get the temperature down from 212 degrees to 70 degrees, maybe 75 given the temperatures outside today, in about 12 minutes. So we'll bring you back when we get to that point. Send it. Ed.